when you were growing up in Fairfield, a good friend of yours took a very different path than you. He didn't pick up a tennis racket. He picked up the microphone that you have now.
Yeah.
Could you share his name with us? And he attended your wedding, and you're still very good friends. My question is, when is he going to do a song about you?
Well, I did I have a funny story and how I met and got to be pretty good friends with John Mayer. He lived him and his family. So his younger brother is my age and my grade. His older brother is my brother's age and his grade, and he's right in the middle. And they lived too close to the school to get bused. And both his parents were teachers, and so they went off to work earlier, and so they wanted their kids on the bus to get them to school. So what they did was they dropped them off at, because his older brother was friends with my brother, his younger brother was friends with me, and they said, can we just drop the kids off at your house beforehand? They can take the bus with your kids, and then we'll pick them up after school after they take the bus home. So all through elementary school, then middle school, and then when Carl, his older brother, went to high school, he was on his own. He would walk, and John, all through middle school and elementary school, him and his younger brother Ben rode the bus with me, and he was kind of the one that was left out because he was the middle child, and I was always playing with Ben. My brother was hanging out with Carl, and then he just, I think around 7th or 8th grade, he picked up the guitar and just started playing it. And he jokes that it was down in my basement where we would be there every single day after school. He would bring his guitar, he'd be sitting there playing. I'd have a racket in my hand, just be kind of twirling it, hitting it a little bit against my wall or whatever. We both were kind of obsessed. We both had these obsessions. And a few years later, we obviously both made a career out of it. I've watched him perform at Madison Square Garden. He's watched me at Wimbledon. And it's just crazy that we were in my basement hanging out, doing what we loved. And now later on, we get paid for doing what we love. So it was pretty crazy. And I still remember the moment. We kind of lost touch a little bit after I went off to college, and he went and kind of was starting to make it in the music scene. And we were playing Davis Cup. It was my first time playing Davis Cup, and it was myself and Andy Roddick, Todd Martin, and Jim Courier. Mm-hmm. So there were arguments over what music we were going to be listening to in the locker room. There was a little more rap from Andy and myself, a little more older, not so great music, in my opinion, from Todd and Jim. And Jim was still on the cutting edge of a lot of music, especially here in New York. And he's like, all right, I got something that we could all listen to. And he put in a CD, and I'm like, oh, this is good. I like it. And I said, who is he? He says, John Mayer. So that's weird. I went to high school with a kid named John Mayer. He was a musician. It was really good. And I said, can I see the cover of that CD? I was like, that's the John Mayer I went to high school with. And, so I called him pretty soon after that, after we finished Davis Cup, and I said, you know what, I couldn't believe it. Like, that was just like a jaw-dropping moment to see how successful you come, how great you are, how awesome that sounded. He said, I did the same thing just a couple months ago when I was just looking through the New York Times, and I was on the cover with my match with Leighton Hewitt. I was in 2001. He said, I'm just reading the paper, and I'm about to go do my thing, start my day, and I see a picture of you. And he's like, this is amazing that now our paths are going to cross again, and what we had been doing always, now we're getting paid for. And it was it's been pretty crazy and a fun ride. And he's been so nice to me. The first time I had my charity event in Virginia, I asked him to perform, and before I even got the question out, he said, tell me where and when, and I'll be there. And he's always been a tremendous supporter of mine and my foundation.